Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. We're ready to go over all the shows, films, documentaries released over the past week on streaming, give you our best recommendations, and of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out so you too can create your very own watchlist. Joining us as always, Senor Jaime, aka Chewy, live from Houston. How you doing?
Yeah, but what's going on?
Big week this week. Was it a great week? Let's find out. Maybe. I don't know.
Probably a couple things that were
Couple
great.
things on there. Yeah, so the format's changed a little bit, so we're gonna go over start with our quick takes and go over some give it just a very quick takes and so a lot of the shows that came out, and we're gonna feature a couple of shows today in terms of giving a little more in-depth review, analysis, and discussion. The shows we thought were probably more worthy of it. That being said, let's get started, man, because there's a lot of stuff to go over here, and I wasn't gonna see this first one. I think you
Okay.
were, and that's Code 8 Part 2 is a Netflix film. I never saw the
Yeah.
first one, which is why I didn't see the second one. So, Drew, real quick, is this on the watch list for somebody?
Yeah, thumbs up, man. I like the first one. It wasn't bad. I'm not sure who made what the first one was made up by Netflix. I can't remember who made it. I might have seen it on another streamer. But this they made part two on Netflix, and it was actually better than expected. It wasn't a bad movie. It looked good, good story, concise. About an hour 40. I take out the credits, hour 35, maybe something like that. But definitely worth the watch if you, especially if you saw the first one and you thought it had a good story and good premise, which it did.
Okay, fair enough. Next one, Reina Roja, the Red Queen. It's a Spanish show. We like our Spanish shows, we really do. This one here, we have
España.
an organization, the very incognito, a secret organization that kind of solves or gets involved in
Well,
high
secret police
crimes. For the first
organization. That's not.
organization, right,
Yeah,
involving
yeah.
stuff in high crimes, with the clientele usually being those of the upper hierarchy in terms of money and etc. And they kind of coax a Spanish detective to recruit back a young woman who worked for them, who no longer did, to help on a big case. And she happens to be the smartest woman in the world, IQ 242, but that she has some mental issues to go along with that, a baggage she brings along, and that, of course, it becomes like a standard, kind of a procedural murder mystery kind of thing. So with that kind of kick to it, enjoyed it. Not great, nothing new. I like the premise. I love the detective on it. That he's very funny. He's very likable,
No.
and overall,
Wasn't he also one of the guys in Casa de Papel, or am I mistaken him?
I don't remember him being on that. Like, honestly, I think I've
Was
seen him
he?
before in other Spanish stuff. I don't know if he was in there. He may
Yeah,
have been. I'm not sure. Uh,
maybe.
yeah,
He strikes me as being as familiar, but maybe not.
yeah, probably. I know I've seen him before, but either way, I enjoyed it. It's not great, but it's good enough to put on your watch list. So yeah, definitely. Joey, agree.
Yep, agreed.
All right, the tourist. I'm sorry. I came out as a Netflix season two. It was okay with season one, but it just didn't do enough for me to do season two, so I didn't watch it. I don't know, Chewy, if you got into this or not.
I did. First season was okay. This one probably okay. With so much going on, I'd say maybe not. Don't watch it. It's
Okay,
not bad, but
right.
uh,
Okay,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
figured, so I'm glad I passed on it. So, next one, we got a Netflix film. Sort of rolled that die with Netflix films. With, Adam Sandler in this one. He plays an astronaut who's on a mission to kind of investigate some kind of space formation cloud or whatever. She's out there for over 6 months, and he's suffering from loneliness, I guess, and kind of deals with him. There's an imaginary or whatever spider he's talking to, I guess, that helps him along is his issues that he's had, and ultimately not on the watch list for me. Not recommending it, though boring. Should have called it the Paint Man. You could have come in, paint your wall, and watch it dry. Would have been exactly the same experience as far as I'm concerned. So
The
yeah,
Lawnmower Man.
yeah, if that was a lot better movie than this. Just it just wasn't for me. It didn't quite work. And I like Adam Sandler in dramatic roles. Not this one. Any disagreements with that, Chewy?
No, I didn't see it, so I
Okay,
trust
well there you go. Yeah, it's
your judgment.
good for you. So Chewy, you can take lead on this one. We got the complete made up adventures of Dick Turpin, Apple Plus show. This is a 30-minute comedy show about a man who wants to be the highwayman or whatever, which is basically a thief. For the horse carriages back in the 1700s, of course. Chewy, on the watch list or not?
No, no. I mean, it had a few humorous moments here and there, but mostly humor falls flat, I think. And it's just weird. It's just weird period piece comedy to, I don't know. It just strikes me more. I think people who enjoy What's that? What's that? The movie about the Crusades, but the funny one.
Oh, the
Monty
Monty
Python's.
Python. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If you think Monty Python is funny, then I think you'll enjoy it. But if you don't, which I don't, it may not be for you. Pass.
agreed. Laughed a couple times. I mean, but this is more. I think it's, and I had this when I was watching it. This is like watching A Flag Means Death. Is that the one? The Taika Waititi one, HBO.
Well,
Along those lines, where it's a nice
yeah,
try, but it's just I just wasn't laughing. So ultimately,
yeah,
not on the watch list. I will plus got 100 other shows you can watch.
yeah.
This is wasn't one of them. Next one up, Netflix. We got Furies. This was a kind of thriller, action thriller, a French show, Francais. But
Sucker blood.
we have a young girl whose that father was murdered. Father was involved in the, I guess, in the mob, embezzling money from all the six godfathers, quote unquote. And she goes off trying to find out who it is. Joins and pairs up with something called Fury. Fury is an individual who kind of monitors and polices the actions amongst the families and kind of works for them, exact vengeance or whatever. Um, Enjoyable, surprisingly, not great. It's got some cool stuff. I guess I think I saw like 4 or 5 episodes of this one.
Already damn.
Yeah,
I
because I
only
mean,
saw
this I
one.
didn't have much to see on Friday and it's yesterday, so I was like, let me jump on it. So barely on the watch list. It's not a terrible show. It's got some interesting. It would have been so much better if there was an American behind the camera. And no offense to the French, but they just don't do stuff as good as we. They just they don't.
Oh, come
They
on, man!
don't. They
Don't
don't.
be hating on Lupin. Come
Lupin
on,
was
dude.
good, but we've seen
Okay.
other French stuff that just doesn't quite hit. This one needed a little more pizzazz. It's not a bad show. It's interesting. I love the premise and the world built in with the Fury and what she does, and
It's
her
very
job.
John Wick like.
Ish, kind of. I mean, let's not.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, if the
I
guy
mean,
from
I
John,
mean, I mean, I
if
mean,
the guy for John Wick made this, now we're having a different conversation, and that's what I'm saying, right? That people behind the camera don't think that give it the show just as it needs, and that's I guess what I'm trying to say. But
okay.
still enjoyable enough. On the watch list. What are you, Trey?
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it.
Okay,
Like I said, right off the bat, like I said, I had a John Wick
it
feel
does. It does.
to it with the action, and the Fury, or maybe it's Furies, but with the first Fury that we see,
Hmm.
and the method of storytelling, and kind of giving us, the criminal underworld element, which obviously what John Wick focuses on.
Right. Correct.
So that's what I enjoyed. So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good actually.
No, it's on the watch list, definitely. But just curb the expectations. It just could have been a really great show with the right people behind it. That's my thing. But definitely on there. Now let's get to the feature. We got 2 feature shows here. I want to let you jump on this one first, Chewy, because I know you wanted to talk about this one. That's American Conspiracy, the Octopus Murder. Sorry. There's a
Yeah.
documentary 4-parter on Netflix. Really, this is if you're a conspiracy theorist, it's a conspiracy theorist wet dream right here, right? A lot of people out there in terms of this one that focus on a journalist who was
I,
first.
I, I
Oh,
I think that's mischaracterizing this
I mean,
show, to be honest with you. And when I think conspiracy theory, I think of Pizzagate and those nut jobs from QAnon. That was a conspiracy
well,
game, right?
as far as like
The elections are
the
stolen.
government and like
That's a conspiracy nut job. This guy, and which is why I really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, this happened right around where circa around our graduate high school years, when this guy was murdered.
yeah, the 1991
And
I think he got killed.
it
Yeah.
was a big deal apparently, because I mean they had newscasts, but all the major networks, even Fox News, sorry, um, talking about this guy's death and what he was investigating. And so I don't think he wasn't a conspiracy nut. He was,
No, he
legitimately
wasn't right.
track started with a story, a software story, right? That was real. It was court cases and stuff going
Hmm.
on with the DOJ, and how, whether you believe it or not, you take it for what it's worth. And maybe there's elements that are true, because lo and behold, things start panning out exactly as investigated, right? Got caught up. Don't know what really happened to him. It's not conclusive one way or the other. You probably have your suspicions, but he was not. He was not. And I think this documentary does a very good job of showing you, once you start going down that rabbit hole, it's hard to get out and it's hard to stop. It's like, when you and one of the journalists said, you have to come to a point where, like, you have to let it go, or it just consumes you and it's never ending, right?
Hmm.
And then that's sort of the case where you try to, and sometimes you try to connect dots that aren't really, can't be connected. But it was really, really good, man. I mean, it was deep, it was provocative, it was insightful, it was relevant. and they did a very good job as far as explaining how he was making these connections. Obviously, it's in the 4 hour documentary. You can only go so far, right? It's not a court of law, but I think there was enough smoke that there was definitely fire. And with the guy picking it up and kind of leaving it open ended, will he continue? Will he decide to defend at the end, right? Of what he might have discovered, one more piece. But there's always one more piece. There's always something. But it was very, I mean, that was, like I said, it was put together well, and it really gave a good story. And it talks about characters that we've known or heard of for decades, right? Hunt, who was involved with
Mm-hmm.
the Watergate, fiasco, and Nixon. And I know the reason I know him, because I saw the you drama about the Watergate incident, and so I thought, oh, I recognize that.
Yeah, on HBO with
Some other guys,
yeah.
yeah, you hear,
Mm-hmm.
but no, they definitely paint the picture and make the case that what was good there was wrong, right? There's just too many convenience connections for it not to make sense. Now, what the bigger picture was, who knows?
Right.
But there was definitely some of these guys were not good individuals, and maybe they were working together on some of these things and did the things that they did. Because, like, I think at the end of the epilogue, they talk about a few of them that were later arrested for exactly the same things that he was investigating them for, just with other
Mm-hmm.
cases, right, and other things. And so, like, then you really start thinking, wait a minute, we know what is going on here.
Right. That's when it goes back, to the whole conspiracy about this a large group controlling everything, right? Or a small group controlling everything, right? And I guess
Well, I mean, definitely influencing for their own personal
for
gain, some way,
exactly,
somehow, or
exactly,
for
yeah.
for what they perceive to be,
Mm.
the right cause or their cause,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Uh,
And just,
Much like, I'll throw this with the CIA bankrolling was it Sandinitas or the whole Iran Contra
oh,
deal, right?
right,
Selling
yeah,
arms
Iran
for
Contra
stuff.
controversy, yeah,
Yeah,
in the 80s.
which is all true. It's all
Of course,
documented. No one
agreed.
got in trouble.
Mm.
Oliver North was the only one who fell in the sword. But
Obviously,
the fact that nobody knew, yeah, nobody, I
right,
don't recall.
exactly.
The infamous political defense. I don't remember. I don't recall. Perfect, all right. Um, but yeah, that was well known what the tactics the CIA have done. Especially with the whole crack cocaine epidemic, where they were funneling drugs, taking the profits, using that to buy arms to feed to the Sandinistas to fight communism in Central America and
Right.
whatnot. I hope I got the right. I hope I didn't get the wrong group on that one.
I think you're right,
Um,
but
okay. But so, like, so this stuff is documented, right? And
of
so the
course,
very nefarious stuff for and the quote unquote the greater good, but bankrolling certain individuals, and they turn out to be evil dictators.
yeah, controlling certain
Noriega.
events.
Anybody
Yeah,
remember that
Noriega,
in Panama?
controlling certain events, and it's funny because
Iraq.
yeah.
Iraq. Anybody?
And I didn't remember. Obviously, I was too young. But when Reagan was the elected president, the whole thing with the hostages and
Oh,
Jimmy
the October
Carter.
surprise. Oh,
Right.
oh yeah,
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 I
yeah.
never knew about. I mean, I knew of it, just never knew into it. So just like,
Mm.
oh, right, I won't say rigged the election, but whatever, right? But you hear that stuff all the time, right? Things that influence the
Well, I
people,
mean, yeah,
right?
they didn't rig the
Yeah.
election, but they definitely rigged events in order to get the election in
Right,
their
to get
favor.
the leg up, right? They
Yeah.
could have gotten the hostages out a long time ago. So you look at like that,
Hmm.
that's messed up. But stuff like that, people hear all stuff all the time. Even now,
And
you
the,
hear,
and the but the guys that were involved in that were all connected, right? I
of
mean,
course,
they
yeah.
were some were CI, some were in the government, some were in various cabinet positions of power and influence, and so making decisions to better themselves or for whatever reason, asking, collecting favors
Right,
from certain
of course.
individuals. I
There's a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
back alley
but
treaties and stuff, and yeah, and
yeah,
this guy who
yeah.
I obviously ended up committing suicide. He was found dead. The journalist, and the more of the story, you go against the powers that be, you're gonna get whacked. That's just how it works. Because they talk about even like in the reservation, one of the individuals who was taking advantage of the land, the Indian land, and putting a casino and not
The
sharing the
Nichols
money.
Nichols character, yeah, he was using
Yeah,
that
and those,
to
yeah, one of the members of the tribe who try to, was like calling him out on it and investigated. He ended up getting whacked.
mhm,
It's just how it
yeah.
goes, right? But it does paint a picture of what's going on behind the scenes, and maybe people talk about all the conspiracy theories and yada yada yada, and what the government really does behind the scenes. But this kind of really explores it, and it's really fascinating. It's really well done, very interesting. I guess it's definitely an excellent watch. This last one feature here is Shogun, one I was looking forward to on You Were Too Chewy, as it was based off popular book novels and miniseries back in early '80s or something. Never saw it.
80s,
Never
yes.
saw it. This one, of course, taking place in 1600 in feudal Japan. We have all, of course, the the samurais and all that, and the incoming of the Spanish influence, Portuguese, and etc.
Portuguese,
Portuguese,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this one here, I had reviewed, I saw it, and this is a show, I'm not going as far as to say this right now. This is not must watch, but it's potential must watch show.
Damn, dude, you're rough.
I guess it really depends how it continues, right? I'll say this, I don't think the show's be for everybody. I love this show. I dug the first episodes a lot. It looks fantastic, the authenticity with what they try to do, and as there was an interview I saw before they premiered the episodes in the screen. A couple of the actors saying how who produced it. I forgot the main character's name. We saw him in John Wick recently, and I think Mortal Kombat. Who's great? I love him. Hanada. I forget his name. My apologies.
Well, he plays the Toranaga.
Right, plays one of the heads of one of the samurai clans or whatever the case is. But he produced it, and he's talking about how how they wrote. They want to be sure everything was so authentic and so how it was in the times, and it really shows. It's grand in scale. This show is going to build to something great, and I mentioned this in my review. This is going to be like. Because listen, if you're looking for the samurai battles and all that stuff, bless you, Fishneys. All the samurai battles and all that, bless you again. And this is you're not gonna get that here, right? This show's not about. This show's about the drama, kind of the politics between amongst these, almost like kind of mafia, right? This is kind of what it is, right? Except for samurai to some degree. It's just great. It's incredibly well done, incredibly well acted. It looks fantastic, and it's gonna build to something where I can finally say, oh. Yes, it's must watch. I truly believe that, which is why I'm saying you guys should watch this show. It's great. It's great. It's only 2 episodes. It's hard for me to call something must watch with 2 episodes. It really is. I'm trying to be more not as liberal with that term, right?
Digest
let's digest it. Let's see how it goes. And I saw some trailers. They showed us trailers of some of the other episodes. There is going to be if you look at big battles and all that, you're going to get that. That's coming, and it's building towards that. You know it is. It's there.
No dragon.
Right. This is kind of like Game of Thrones ish, where it's a lot of talking and build up until you get to the 9th episode, right? And that's one kind of I think the show may follow a similar style in terms of building up until we get to that moment where it's like boom, right? Potentially. But it's great, really cool with that young girl who's we just saw her in Monarch Legends.
Yeah,
right. Plus, she's one of the main characters. Really well done, excellent show.
She's the daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law, the main guy. I really forgot his name. But listen, really well done. It's fascinating. It's great. You definitely got to check it out. And I think we'll probably revisit this in 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, I mean, if you're into political drama type show, because obviously there's a lot of politics being played between the various lords and retaining power, giving us the backstory, bringing in the influence of the Portuguese and how they played a part in this, at least in this story. I'm not sure how historically accurate this is in that regard.
Sure.
But and building up alliances right between 5, to secure power, secure at least your well-being going forward. Of the various families. I mean, it's really, really good. I mean, FX has gone all in. I mean, all the chips are in the middle, dude.
Oh no, yeah,
they're holding on good hand. Could be ace king, could be king. They have various YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. They have an app that goes with it. That kind of as you watch the show, you can get background on particular characters and help you tell you who's who and what's what. They were at Comic-Con last year, and the setup was just outstanding. And they had the actors playing samurai and shoguns there. I mean, like you said, they went all in and have been. And so I've been excited for this show since I first heard about it last year. I mean, it's just if this is your cup of tea, man, it's just absolutely great.
No, it really is. Hiroki Sanada is his name. Sorry, it just came to me. This is. I guess I don't think it's for everybody. I don't know if it's gonna be for everybody. You have to be into that kind of thing, right? I think it's not like mainstream.
Right.
I don't think it's a mainstream kind of show. I don't know.
I mean,
maybe it is.
Maybe you're not into feudal Japan history, but I mean, it's good drama.
Oh no, it's great drama. No question.
The basis is right.
It's one that you guys listen, check out.
It's brutal. Give it a shot. It's brutal.
It is.
Violent.
It is. There's some violence.
There's some brutality there. I mean, it's up there. It's not as bad as well, not as good as far as I'm concerned. As far as The Boys. But it's up there, man. I mean, the one guy. I mean, and some things implied, which is good because you sometimes you don't get to see it
Right,
to
right.
get the
But
effect.
there's one guy
And
who
spoiler
gets
alert,
cooked.
yeah, who gets
Yeah,
boiled, literally boiled
yeah.
alive. But I mean, he can't take it anymore. Literally, I think he killed himself. But they put him in a boiling pot of water, and dude, that's not pretty.
It's
That's
really
not a
cool,
pretty
yeah.
way to.
And then you get, and I think the great juxtaposition because you have the one Spanish character who's like a pilot, and kind of a pilot, on a ship.
Well, no, he's English. He's
Oh, he's
actually
I'm sorry, he's English.
English.
You're right. He's English. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he's not
He's English.
Portuguese. He's
Right.
English.
He's actually,
You know.
the English is fighting against Portuguese, Spain at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
he lands on I guess shipwrecked in Japan. He was looking for Japan.
Well, he by miracle he ends up
Right.
land. They were trying to get to Japan and to get there because they had to go. Obviously, there was no Panama Canal, and they couldn't
Mm.
go eastward because they had to avoid the Spanish forces. So they had to go the Magellan route.
Right.
So all the way across the Atlantic, down across Argentina, Magellan Strait, and obviously across the Pacific to get there.
Yeah.
So it was not an easy trip. And so by the time they got there, they were out of food, out of water, and literally out of luck.
Yeah, and it's good for how they think that they're savages, and they look at him as savages, and you get that kind of like
Yeah,
the point of view
everyone
is like,
sees each
oh,
other as
yeah,
savages.
yeah.
But I mean, but that's pretty typical because European conquest and
Of
colonization,
course. Yeah.
to them, everyone was a savage,
Okay.
right? If you weren't them, if you're not one of us, you're one of them.
The white man, am I right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Fucking
ruin everything,
colonizers.
man. Bastards.
But
Those guys.
but it is funny how they view each other as savages,
Yeah.
right? Where really neither one. Japanese society was advanced.
There's even that
Was
scene was like he's like I think I forget who it was, but it told the pilot he's like look over like I guess look over there yonder the horizon and see the city of the building. Say, are we savages? And I can take a look at this, showing him, hey, we're civilized society.
Yeah, civilized
yeah.
society, right? Relatively, right?
Right. I mean, for the times they
still,
were obviously right.
they weren't hunter gatherers, right?
Yeah,
And stuff, and
right, they're
so
scratching their ass,
yeah.
pulling the women by the hair. That's not how they were. But it looks fascinating show. Really, I'm so looking forward to it. And I think by the time this is over, I'm gonna come back on the show saying this was must watch. I truly believe that. I just want to wait. That's all I'm saying. I'm just but the potential is there right now. Absolutely, go watch it for sure. Along with Warrior, I forgot to mention on Netflix. It's 3 seasons,
Keep
guys.
watching Warrior.
Speaking of must watch, Warrior, Netflix, watch it. That's all I gotta say for now about that.
I don't. I mean, for whatever reason, it shot off the top 10. I'm sad because I don't think people are. I don't know.
It may not be getting
I just
traction.
don't know.
It's hard for the older show to get
Yeah.
traction. It really is. But take with no marketing, nothing behind it, it's not easy.
Well,
It's not easy.
this is
Yeah. I mean, like
there's really no
something
marketing.
like Suits was caught traction. That's an anomaly. That doesn't happen very often, right? Otherwise, every show they put on be top 10 or whatever. It just doesn't happen. So who knows? I'm cross fingers. But again, I'll keep recommending Warrior till the cows come home. That being said, that's all for the week. Just a quick reminder what's coming out next week, because we did talk about last week. We got The Regime starting today with Kate Winslet on HBO. Kind of a period piece, not a period piece. Limited,
Period
not
piece.
period piece. Limited series. Well, every piece is a period piece. It just takes place now, a little bit more. Technically speaking, that's on this today. On the 5th, we got a documentary, The Program. It's one dealing with the girl who was, not saying incarcerated is not the right word. Abducted, yeah. And so it's about maybe a cult-like organization. I don't know, but it sounds very interesting. We got Extraordinary, very funny comedy on Hulu on the 6th. And then on the 7th, we got a couple of things on Netflix. One is The Signal. The other one is The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie series. His first series he's done, of course, based in the same world as The Gentleman.
Sequel.
Sequel
to the
is a
movie.
sequel. You're right. You mentioned that. To The Gentleman, which is a very, very underrated movie a couple years back. So looking for those are the 5 things coming out again. I'll have them on here for you. We'll talk about those next week. Chewy, been a pleasure. Enjoy Shogun episode 3. I know I will, hopefully. And I think I'm getting the missus to jump on there. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to have to rewatch the first 2. That's okay. It's a sacrifice I'll make. No big deal. It's not a big deal. Yeah, exactly. Oh, damn. I got to rewatch Shogun. With that being said, join us here every Sundays again on the watch list. Subscribe below, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next week.